Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quake Pro League. A big game is about to come up. This is one that I think we're both quite excited for, Harry, of course. Cypher and k1llsen, two players from the European scene that are not only damn good at the game, but a lot of the time they play with their heart on their sleeves. Very passionate players when it comes to how they really handle themselves inside the server, so they normally provide for some of the better action.
Yeah, both these players strive on momentum in any way, shape, or form. k1llsen, we know that he's one of the highest fraggers in the entire EU scene, and he continues it even against the most passive of players. It seems like not many styles of play can actually counter how k1llsen does it, and he does it
Mm.
with ease, and it's disgusting to see sometimes. It's definitely a specialty he has, and it's definitely a flaw which is hard to discover. But Cypher, this is the opposite end of the spectrum. Not in terms of styles, he's got the speed and momentum that has k1llsen, but it feels like he's actually returned as the Quake player he once was. He's definitely been on form throughout the most of the, I'll probably say at least 3 or 4 weeks now. And it's the same Cypher we've seen probably back in the day. I'm not too sure where he's got his motivation back from, but clearly someone's had a word. He's had a word of himself and has realized that he needs to really step things up, and he has done. And it's basically a great thing to see, a special thing to see, you could say.
It is. It's lovely, right? He's one of those players that has always been such a big prodigal son inside of Quake that it's fantastic to have him back in the upper echelons of the scene. Let's have a look at the veto for this series, though, and see if there's any chance that that might swing how we think this one is going to go. Now, straight off the back of the standings, obviously, when you look at it, k1llsen, he's at rank 2 for a reason, right? It's hard to disagree that he is not an absolutely fantastic player in his current form, touted as Railson for all the right reasons, because when he's on point, his railgun is absolutely unbeatable. Meanwhile, for Cypher, it could be a meme machine at times, Harry. As you said, though, it's just a matter of is he feeling it today? Is he coming in playing like this? Really the reborn version of Cypher we've been seeing more again recently.
It's funny because him and Tox, and I think it was one other player, had that kind of motivational change, you could say, or swift in
Mm,
terms of
mm.
how they started playing halfway through to stage to now. It's a bit bizarre. It's like they all had an intervention with each other to say, look, we need to try and sort ourselves out in terms of our caliber of skill, because Cypher is the biggest legend in the scene. One of the biggest legends in the scene. So we
Yeah.
all know what he's capable of. He's still quite young. He's still able to do exactly what needs to be done to at least make something of himself. And he knows it too. That's the worst thing. He knows but he's more than capable of taking out anyone in the competition. It's just his mentality to actually show that he can do it. And the last few weeks, he has done, but there's been, 1 or 2 matches where it's shown the true test. But I think this is the biggest one. You could say Razy or Wenger, but he's
Mm,
been doing
mm.
very well anyway. But k1llsen, this is a huge one. He's going to have a lot of you may see a few mistakes here and there from what k1llsen can exploit, but if Cypher plays like he did in the past few weeks, then we should see an absolute phenomenal game. But if he's off form, then I will feel sorry for him because k1llsen will just be all over him at this point. But this is Cypher we're talking about. Surely he'll be the one to try and topple in one way or another.
Yeah, no, I think it is interesting, right? Because obviously Cypher's story is quite unique in the sense that as much as he was still trying to compete and obviously wanted to find his footing back inside the Quake scene, there was more he was doing outside of that. Obviously working alongside Navi in his coaching role, he had a lot more stuff that obviously was putting pressure on him. But I think we then, after you were saying, like after Poland, it seemed like he almost really found that drive and that passion again for arena FPS. We saw him putting in a lot more hours again, back to streaming more consistently, entering all the tournaments he could get involved with. And his skill level has returned to that form, which is why it's damn exciting because it now means when we get into an environment like this where we have a matchup between two of these guys, it's really got so much more weight onto it because k1llsen, obviously, he is an incredible powerhouse. But the worry was, obviously, if he took on Cypher maybe a few months ago, Harry, it wouldn't have been, such a big sparkling affair. Whereas now, I think we're in for an absolute treat with this one, with how close it could actually be.
Yeah, it's going to be really close, or it's going to go one way in favor of k1llsen. It just depends what kind of Cypher we've seen. But I'm hoping, in terms of confidence, that I actually say that it will be super close with every single frag going, absolutely be a nail biter. But the thing with Cypher, like the reason why, like, you're saying before, like, you maybe being the coach for Navi and do things like
Mhm.
that. There's a layer upon layer of like how you can build up your skill. You
Yeah.
could be the best at a certain game, be tier one, but because you were so high up on tier one, you could come back, I don't know, like 3 years later and barely play, but you'll still be in that tier 1 bracket because everything you've got in your mind, your mentality, and basically everything you've remembered as muscle memory. Cypher, for example, could just disappear for 5 years and come back and still make it to Pro League. Like, this is the guy who is always, will never leave tier 1 unless something drastic happens. But it's about maximizing that tier 1, maximizing the top of the table in terms of not just the groups and how the standings are going, but just in terms of his skill level and his caliber. So k1llsen cannot underestimate it, and I'm sure he won't, considering what Cypher's done in the past and currently in the present.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's also the other good factor to this is both of them are really good friends. So I feel like getting into a
Yeah.
matchup like this, you know how that normally fuels you. You know what I mean? When you're on the server, obviously from your past experience, Harry, competing at a higher level, you know how much that can be a driving factor when you get into a game and you're like, right, let's make this one a banger.
Yeah, I think pride is definitely more on the line, especially if you see Cypher versus Avec or Cypher versus k1llsen. But yeah, it's going to be more than just pride going into this, as we will see what happens if it goes straight in onto Corrupted Keep. But k1llsen will be the first one we'll be seen, and he's already trying to figure out where Cypher could be. But we'll get the info shortly as he is coming up from behind. But he's deciding whether to go for that rocket, but 74 damage there from that first rocket. It's going to try and push him with an LG, but Cypher just manages to get away and rotate round to try and get the rockets of his own. But as you can see, k1llsen just keeping at bay for the time being and just playing quite passive as he picks up the Mega.
Now, for k1llsen on the Galena, curious to see how beneficial those totems are going to be and how sneaky he can be with them on a map like Corrupted Keep to be able to give him a slight upper hand advantage. Already one of them goes down. Cypher's firing out a few of the warning shots there from his tri-bot and getting a little bit of a connection off. But it's not really going to be too much to write home about just yet. In terms of the rotation split on the major items, there's about 8 seconds between them spawning. And k1llsen has control of the Mega. Cypher is now backing off so he can pick up the Heavy. And then we'll reinitiate to try and start getting some sparks to fly here on Corrupted Keep. That was a nice little side swipe there, Harry. k1llsen wasn't ready for that one, so it takes a little bit of damage with the HMG.
He definitely wasn't at all. The only problem is k1llsen has the 3 totems up and he's going to build up his 4th momentarily. But I love the placements he's done. It's done it in the corner away from Cypher and has a couple on the Teddy if he does come through and go for the LG. But it's already gone through one already. But now it's just waiting for to see what happens. But it does realise he is going for the rockets. This is definitely a very slow-paced Corrupted Keep from what we've seen in previous matches. But this is definitely like a game of chess as k1llsen's trying to figure out where exactly he is. But now he's going to know directly underneath as that Mega will come up in the next 3 seconds. It looks like Cypher will let him go for it for the time being as he tries to contest the Heavy in the next 10.
Ooh. Warning shots going across to at least try and push him back a little bit. Now, 2 minutes and 20 in, both of them showing an awful lot of discipline and a lot of respect for one another as well. I think that's the key point, right? We've not really seen them going for anything too overzealous. No real big commits into these fights. Ooh, Cypher wasn't ready for that totem, Harry. Went straight into it. That's a bit of damage that might actually slow him down here, potentially. The rocket placement is absolutely perfect. That was a beautiful vertical rocket. Do a nice chunk of damage onto k1llsen, strip some of that stack off, and keep them both in fairly close positions when it comes to their HP pools.
That's right, Cypher now definitely not in a position to take any fights here as he is trying to at least still contest it one way or another, but he needs to let that Mega go. But he decides to go for the fight anyway, almost knocks him out. But k1llsen gets the Mega once more. Cypher has to be really careful about what he wants to do here. He knows k1llsen's around, but where exactly he is, that's just another story as he takes a little bit of damage. But Cypher, look at the amount of HP he has. It's literally was next to none, but at least he keeps himself at bay for the time being. But look at the stack of k1llsen. It's just pretty much his playground until he gets that first frag.
Cypher making his move once again as he sets himself up back over towards the rocket room. However, what he wasn't ready for was k1llsen lurking round the corner. k1llsen with a well-timed rocket, Harry, chunks him down and finally gets the opening frag into the game just before the 4-minute mark. Cypher almost was able to overthrow him into that encounter as well. but just didn't have any sustain, didn't have the fight left in him because he had taken so much damage initially. k1llsen, from quite a distance there, whipping out the super shotgun, really trying to lay down the law with Big Papa Pump.
Things have been quiet now as k1llsen knows exactly where he's going to go. It's just a matter of time to take the bait, but he doesn't. Cypher's waiting so patiently there. The totem does come down to restack and just that little bit, but look at that. Cypher manages to get away from the Mega. But it doesn't matter as k1llsen does pick up the heavy for his troubles now. Still, k1llsen has had the height advantage so much throughout the course of this entire game, but the only problem is Cypher, even though he's at the LG with stuck, he should be able to push in here, and he does with the LG and manages to tie things up 1-1 here.
Ooh. Tags coming across. Nice amount of damage being done. Cypher going to find k1llsen. And that is another instant frag. He has really turned this 1 to 11 instantly, Harry. And now he doesn't want to stop at all. He is not slowing down whatsoever as he's gone from no kills on the board to 3 in seconds. Could it even be a 4th? Again, prepared for the turning of the corner there as k1llsen comes round, not ready. And the rocket will slap him down, leaving him so close to his demise once more. Surely he's got to try and slow down the pace of the game now.
At this level, especially on Corrupted Keep, normally when you've seen the main fragger actually having the map control and the advantage he has, he tries to do everything he can to put so much pressure on at the start of each spawn cycle. But look at this, so who knows, they take a little bit of damage. k1llsen, somehow 66 HP at the time, but nicely done by Cypher once more, choosing the right opportunity to take down k1llsen. But k1llsen's just in a world of trouble here. LG'd on spawn once more. Gets the Mega again. Cypher's just all over him. Just figured out exactly where he was. I think he made the assumption that he may be going for heavy. But speaking of heavy, look at this though. Cypher's delayed it by at least another 5 or 6 seconds. So k1llsen's going to be in a world of trouble if he decides to go for the other item. But look at the LG from Cypher. It's just been on par of things. It's just weird to see k1llsen in this much trouble.
It is crazy as well because he was dominant at the start. And it was almost as if Cypher had just, lured him into his trap, bided his time, just waiting for that right opportunity, Harry, to then just go, right, now is when I strike. And everything from that point forward has been fabulous. He hasn't put a wrong foot down yet. And the scary factor is k1llsen, he's going to need to start to come back into this game relatively soon. Time is really starting to tick its way through. And every time he's going for a commit, it's just not working out. Cypher taking him down once more. 5 frags advantage now.
Oh my god.
Make it 6. What is going on?
That LG was just absolute filth. He barely missed at all. Still has the sacks. Oh my goodness. It's just mad how... You can't even mind this at the moment, the jacket to be stayed. But you've got to remember, k1llsen does have the momentum swing if needed. He is the sort of person where it doesn't matter how far down he is, just like Avik, he can easily come back from this. But Cypher's playing this exactly right, and that was a beautiful direct rocket from Cypher just to clean things up.
Man, it's ridiculous the way this game has been going. Cypher, beautiful movement there as he elegantly makes his move across the map, looking like a figure skater. As this one has been perfect tens the whole way through, Harry. Again, falls back into another fight, gets slammed in the face by the rockets of k1llsen, forcing him to reposition. Dire Orb goes out, but it's more of just a bait play. He's finally in a position where he could fall, though. So low and rough around the edges, k1llsen is just looking. He has him trapped. He knows the 2 exit points, and he's just got to bide his time. Starts to try and block him off as well, putting down the totems to stop him from getting out of the choke point, but he has evaded it. Goes straight slap bang into a rocket as well. Takes a ton of damage and has to get out of there.
Cypher now, he's predicted rockets has been on par. It's been insane seeing him couple k1llsen like this, but how long for? And these rockets from Cypher, you couldn't make up at this point. Just barely messes up the health orbs there, but he had to use the orb himself to try and get him, but it was definitely worth it. He didn't really have much stack to play with. So Cypher now continues the lead with 1 minute and 10 left remaining. And k1llsen is puzzled, which is very rare. You never see k1llsen this puzzled in terms of exactly what he needs to do next. Cypher's just literally all over him, and just look at his LG and his rockets perfectly placed. Cypher left on 13 HP, but I think this is all said and done here, Jack.
It seems like it. The way the game's going, I'd be surprised if k1llsen was able to get back into it. And Cypher is not giving him any opportunities for that. Right now, he is playing his heart out, Harry. The speed, the prowess, the grace from this man is unrivaled here. I think we found out whose keep it is, and it is certainly Cypher's keep.
My goodness, the LG, it's not even just the accuracy of the LG, it's every gun he's using. The predictive rocket's been fantastic, the LG's been disgusting. Just remarkable work. If someone said to me, Cypher beat k1llsen 14-2, I would have thought they're having a laugh or they're joking. But yeah, this is remarkable. It just shows how well Cypher's been doing recent weeks. And map number 1 will go to Cypher, but don't forget, it's still early days. k1llsen could still come back in this with map number 2, which will be on Awoken, another map with small geometry. But even then, what can k1llsen do? k1llsen just looks puzzled, which is quite rare.
Yeah. He did indeed. It's also the fact that at the start of that game, right, it was how k1llsen was playing it very methodically, and everything was working quite nicely in his favor, right? Bit by bit, he started building himself up, got a nice little base layer down, and then Cypher, it was almost like he just took the first couple of minutes to assess the way k1llsen was playing it, and that's when he instantly just turned it on, Harry. And once he flipped that switch, it was a whole can of whoop-ass that got opened up, and he just went for it the entire way through. From that point forward, I don't really feel like we really saw him make a mistake.
Barely any mistakes were made there. He just made himself such a pain to even frag, just being an absolute nuisance. Faked out so many different scenarios, which you, in the back of your mind, you wouldn't have to, but you have to play that caliber at all times 24/7. I still think 14-2 against k1llsen is just a ridiculous scoreline. Just everything is perfect. His aim, his game sense, his initiative to do certain things at certain times, the passive aggressive attitude he has, it just all went perfectly in his favor. And that's why k1llsen was just like, well, what more do you want me to do? Like, you know, there's only so much I can do. The methodical approach is understandable at the start, especially on Corrupted Keep, because especially if you get the first frag and you've got a decent stack afterwards, you can at least get the items and keep, you know, continue the control. But Cypher's just chilled top mid it. But even then, k1llsen at the start had all the totems in the perfect positions just to make sure any flanks did occur, and he had the health there. Still lost. You know, he's probably thinking to himself, what more could he have done? But I'm sure that for anyone watching that, that was just remarkable from Cypher, and we need to I'll probably definitely watch that back, because it's just disgusting how he just dominated such a small map with such ease.
Oh yeah, ridiculous the way he played it, and the way that everything was so flawless as well. And also just, I don't know, man, the overall tone of that game was absolutely incredible. Now we go on to Awoken, again, another small close quarters map. We have Sorlag for Cypher and k1llsen for k1llsen. If anything is to go by from what we just saw at first, I am incredibly excited for the way this map is going to go. We both said this will probably be a banger of a series, Harry, and it's been no holes barred so far.
Yeah, we thought it could be a little bit one-sided too, but everything is going to be in favour of Cypher. He's on an absolute roll, but that was only the first map as we go into Awoken. Still playing it quite slow and methodical. Just try and feed each other out and see what he can do. You saw earlier Cypher pretty much downloaded k1llsen after the first few minutes of that game, but will he do it again? I'm sure for k1llsen it's in the back of his mind just slightly, but k1llsen's got a very healthy stack here as he gets that first rail onto Cypher.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Cypher is like the Quake AI who's just been slowly assessing the situation. You know what I mean? Like, they've turned his servers back online. He's been processing Quake champions again, and now he's at a point where he's in the Matrix, Harry. He understands how to counter everything. He just sees the game in binary.
Do you know what? You're not wrong. He probably does see it like that. Like, if you played this game at a professional level for countless years, it probably gets to that point. As k1llsen now is playing the cat and mouse game, is trying to chase Cypher down, but at this moment in time, it doesn't really get much room for error, as Cypher's not giving k1llsen any leadway to figure out what he can do apart from maybe a tiny bit of chip damage here and there. Ooh.
Ooh. Railguns going off as both of them are trying to connect onto each other. Again, a lot of respect shown in the early game. This is very, very much a mirror of what we had on Corrupted Keep, right? For the first few minutes. I think it was just before the 3-minute mark we saw the first bit of blood being spilt. And again, seems to be a bit of a similar situation. 2 minutes in, no frags yet. Cypher, he's had his armor stripped off him. And k1llsen's actually doing a good job of hoovering up all of the major items, like some kind of item hoover.
He definitely is our item hoover indeed. But Cypher knows that if he does try and go for the light on the LG side, he could get trapped. It's a beautiful rocket, but surely Cypher could survive this. One more race, still available perfectly, but now k1llsen does manage to get that health for. That's hugely important, but it's restacked back. Cypher needs to be a tad more careful. He's been playing this perfectly so far, but he can't go to the LG room. He knows that, but takes down the turret anyway. Telly's through, and k1llsen finally, after 2 minutes and 42, gets that first frag on the board. Cypher's making it hard work for k1llsen here.
Well, even in that one fight alone, right? That like isolated 30 seconds, it was an incredibly tall order for k1llsen to be able to find himself that frag. Cypher, the movement was on point. He was somehow just willing to go for these wild swings with the railgun as well. The confidence is certainly there for both of these men tonight.
And neither one of these players want to give each other any slight advantage. And this is the problem for Cypher though, because he hasn't got the stack. He does need to go for the lights. And going for that LG light armor it could spell trouble, considering how open it is, especially with that top mid control. But k1llsen does get heavy again. Still on the back foot, but the main thing is Cypher is not letting the game get out of control here. k1llsen is right now just waiting patiently top mid to find out what Cypher's next move is.
Well, it seems like Cypher's move is to try and sock it to him, but it isn't going to work out too well for that big lizard. She has been overthrown, taken down by k1llsen. Now, what's worrying as well, right? The classic play for k1llsen on a map like Awoken is he establishes that control towards the middle portion of the map, doesn't he? He loves that upper middle. He'll lock it down and be able to basically deny any of your rotation. It's also so efficient for him then to make his move between heavy and mega with absolute ease. And that's what he's doing. Once more, the classic k1llsen play as he tries to get the map control established. Has to make a rapid dart, though, towards the mega to heal himself up a little bit as he was low on stack. Cypher, a bit more paranoid now. Taking his time and clearing his angles a lot more efficiently, Harry.
He's baiting himself a lot more as well. The amount of fakery Cypher's doing in this game is just remarkable. Constantly keeping k1llsen guessing. Even if he assumes he doesn't know where he is, he's still trying to make him keep guessing exactly his location. But saying that, k1llsen got a beautiful rail. Surely this is an opportunity for him to try and push up and clean up Cypher, which he tries to do with the LG. But the rockets are coming in. What that first rail does, but misses. Oh, that was such a shame. k1llsen was only on 10 HP after that last rail from Cypher. Maybe Cypher can clean up here. I'm not too sure. It might be a little bit too late, but he's going to definitely try and make the attempt as there's still 5 minutes left remaining. So Cypher has plenty of time to try and double k1llsen here, but could this be the opportunity he's been looking for? No, it's not, as k1llsen extends his lead 4-0.
Ooh. That's quite a nice little tag coming through. As k1llsen will be able to get that shot off. Starting to do ever so slightly more as well. It's a 4-0 scoreline right now here on Awoken. Oh, I was going to say make that a 5-0. But Cypher saw k1llsen charging towards him like the cheater he is. But it turns out Cypher, not only being a gigantic lizard, he's also a very proficient big game hunter. And he took that cheater down. That's another cheater gone. At this point, the cheaters are going extinct, Harry.
They definitely are. And you see now, k1llsen went straight for that top mid control to deny Cypher anything at this moment in time. Beautiful rail, just needs to look for one more. It's such on the slim of her, only on 54 HP, but managed to restack only slightly. As Cypher knows now that he's finally got full map control. It's quite difficult for him to begin with. as k1llsen darted straight for it about a minute ago, but now he's given up the position just to try and get the heavy. Now he's going to try and contest the mega once more. Still got 10 seconds left remaining, and k1llsen realizes that he is not in a position to try and cause any mischief unless he gets a decent flank round, but it looks like he will be giving away that mega. At least he gets the light. As I'm saying that, but Cypher comes straight darting in, and as you see that, my goodness, a trade from both of them, even though k1llsen had the lower stack.
Okay. This makes this one a little bit more interesting, as yeah, time was ticking away, but with a frag like that coming out to play, maybe there was a bit more to be done for the storyline in this one. However, k1llsen quickly tries to bring this back to normality, returns to his classic self as k1llsen as well, with that railgun in hand, looking to secure himself the frag versus Cypher. Good read of the game as well, as he was able to get the rocket down. That was nicely prioritized. With only 2 weapons in his arsenal, he's making full use out of them.
The mind games between these two players is just unheard of. Everything they're doing, the fakery, the baiting, the iron control right now is just... it's just incredible to see. But at this moment in time, as I'm saying that, k1llsen, another filthy rail from him.
Railgun shot goes across from k1llsen but won't connect. He has a startlingly large lead though into this one. Turns the corner, gets the read, finds where Cypher is, and is not missing a shot right now. Will he be able to finish him though? That is going to be the question. As he's on 1 HP, all it took was some spit to burn through his skin and leave that k1llsen a dead man.
Cypher only has a minute and a half left. He definitely has the opportunity to try and come back from this. As you saw, 2 beautiful rails from Cypher just to try and keep him at bay, but he will be hiding top mid for now. But let's see what he can do here. Cypher is just trying to dilly-dally his way, figuring out exactly where he is. Gets caught off guard by the telly, but k1llsen is so weak at this point. Cypher just waiting for him to try rotate around, but it doesn't in his favour. Cypher now is going to try and push a little bit more, but k1llsen has realised that I think it's time to back off for the time being, play the defensive game, and keep Cypher chasing.
Globules going out. 7-4 split on the kills right now with 30 seconds remaining. Big old k1llsen appears to have this one in the bag, meaning the 3rd and final map will be a true decider unless... it would be a very slim unless Cypher is able to chain these next 3 frags together in rapid succession to be able to close this one out. And you know what, Harry? There might actually be a possibility for it, but it all needs to happen within the next 10 seconds. He has to find him and bag him right now. The movement is on point for Cypher, but unfortunately, his head hits the ledge, it slows him down, and he couldn't track down k1llsen. He kept it close, but couldn't do it to drag it to sudden death. That is going to be a victory there for k1llsen.
I'm not going to lie then, I thought he was going to do it.
Yeah.
There was a part of me where I thought he's still got a stack and the weaponry in his arsenal. He just catch him off guard. Maybe if k1llsen just gets an ALG or something, and that's about it. But yeah, that was a great display. That was just a pure example of mind games and how your mindset works in different scenarios. Both of them are faking in each other out, even though they don't even know exactly pinpoint where they are, but they always cautious on what they want to do and how they want to try and execute things. And it's fantastic to see. It's quite rare you see that because it's normally off the tippity top of the players in terms of the caliber of skill. But for those two, then you saw Cypher's constantly doing it all the time, trying to throw k1llsen off. But you know, this is going to be a great way to end the series. 1-1 currently, isn't it?
It is tied up 1 apiece. Obviously, Cypher taking Corrupted Keep, k1llsen taking Awoken. Both of them actually winning their respective map pick here in this series. So that's an interesting tidbit to take a look at. Now moving on, we go into a Molten. Decided by Cypher in the end. This is going to be Keel versus Slash. k1llsen on the Slash and Cypher on the kill. I think what our third kill we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with that. Yeah, I think it is 3. Yeah, but The only other times we've seen kill is on Vale, and that's literally
Yes,
about it.
yeah.
But apart from that, yeah, it's a bit of a weird matchup. Slash common, kill not. Maybe there's something we don't know in terms of the meta of how things have changed. Or maybe Cypher knows something and wants to try something which in terms of his map positioning and how he actually holds certain areas. Maybe he likes playing kill for certain reasons. I suppose we'll find out soon enough. But yeah, Cypher needs to really be careful on exactly how he wants to try and approach this. I know k1llsen, there's been times where he's played this map and he's been phenomenal, and there's been times where it's been lackluster. It's been quite low par from what we've seen before. And I think it really does depend on his start and how it actually manages to progress going further. But as long as he goes for that chip damage, and he knows that as Slash, he's always the one where he doesn't need to worry about anything such as being behind in frags. He's the one who's going to be doing the chasing throughout most of his game, and he can back off whenever he needs to. Even though k1llsen isn't the sort of player who would, but this third map is definitely going to be a doozy.
Oh, yeah. It will be. It will be indeed. And we are ready to get underway with it as we kick this one off. The decider between k1llsen and Cypher. This series has already had so many little gems sprinkled into it, Harry. I can only imagine Molten Falls is going to be the cherry on top to close this one out. Time will tell, though, who is going to be the victor as we are into the game. Currently, a little bit of space created between the both of them. They've been very respectful in the opening moments of both of their duels so far, so I don't imagine this one will deviate. Obviously waiting until there is a prime opportunity to strike before overcommitting for any frags and fumbling.
That's right. Neither of these players, both k1llsen and Cypher, have barely fumbled throughout the entire series. Very little, if not minor, mistakes been caused by these two. And you always notice that the first few minutes is kind of to fill each other out, but as you can see, Cypher's caused a lot of damage there. Got another rail. Is he possibly going to go for the... No, he's not. As you can see, k1llsen managed to back away for the time being, but needs to be careful on how things are going. Cypher knows exactly where he is. And k1llsen just holding that top shotgun area for the time being, just trying to put a few rockets down to see if he can get any damage done. But finally, after 6 rockets, managed to get one, missed the rail, and surely this is Cypher's chance to maybe try and catch up with him and try and at least gain the lead. But look at the speed and the agility from k1llsen there. The slash, the reason why so many players play this champion on Molten.
So, nearly 2 minutes into the game. Cypher getting quite aggressive here, and it is actually going to pay off for him as he fully commits to dive in to get that kill. Takes down k1llsen, forced out his plasma trail, and rips his spine clean out of his back. Now follows it up with the LG as well, as he's getting himself back-to-back kills, leaving k1llsen in the dust in the opening moments of the game now. Finally starting to establish himself a little bit of dominance. Spots him out again. He has been so proficient with the LG the whole damn day tonight, and that is not changing at all here today, Harry. Rips his way through him once more. Quick adjustments to the rocket to put him to bed, and Cypher's now 3-0.
Cypher's done an incredible job, but k1llsen can easily, as I expected, trade these frags off. He's got the speed and the movement to do it. It's just a matter of how his spawn location is and the cycle. Look at that, Cypher very cheeky with that rail just to try and do a little bit of damage here and there. But it just needs to prepare for what k1llsen's up to in terms of where he's going to go and what his plans are to go for some of his items. But he's only on 60 HP. Manages to get that heavy. I'm not too sure how. As k1llsen just managed to stay alive for the time being. It's going to pull him off the LG, but it's not to be the case. Cypher was more than ready for that engagement and increases his lead 4-1 and gets the Mega to make matters worse for k1llsen.
I come bearing gifts.
Cypher, a good lead established, but where will the game spiral from here? That is going to be the question. And right now he does start to get up in position to again strike towards k1llsen, tickling him with the LG, and doing quite a substantial amount of damage, leaving him very low. Pineapple's going out, and will finish him with the railgun. as he tears him inside out. 5-1 now here on Molten Falls. This is the decider for the series as well, as they're currently 1 apiece. So if Cypher wins this, it'd be a huge point injection to steal from the man that is at the very upper echelons of the standings. 9 HP left on him. Tried to time it to be able to get away out of the prying claws of k1llsen, but unfortunately Harry peaked at just the wrong time.
The discipline from k1llsen there to wait that long to make sure he was calling off completely. He made the assumption that he hasn't gone anywhere, and the right assumption he made as it is now. Hasn't really got a stack to take this fight, but he's trying to contest a heavy in any way, shape or form. Managed to get 1, but surely he has to back off for the time being. He's only on 11 HP. Manages to back away, but the Mega's not for another 10 seconds, so at least he can get another 50 HP. k1llsen is just taking his time, just being a little bit more cautious with his speed. And has got the info he desires, and is going to chill on that rail for the time being. He's just going to back away. Try and flank around once more.
5-minute warning.
5 minutes have passed. Cypher dominating right now. Very reminiscent game of Corrupted Keep in the way he's approaching it. And again, that fateful LG comes out to play. He has not been missing a beat with a weapon over the course of the evening. Can he maintain that throughout the rest of this map? Railgun comes in from k1llsen. It's a big tag. He fires back, gets a couple of shots off. The pineapples are rolling out as well to attempt to do a bit more damage. And both of them are trading blow for blow, really leaving their mark on one another.
Fire in the hole.
Has the info, but just baiting him out just a little bit here to figure out where k1llsen is going to go next. And that was beautiful there. That's the first rail on board. But he's now going to try and corner him off if he can. But k1llsen's having absolutely none of it as he managed to fake out. He's going towards the rail to the Teddy, but decides to pull back anyway. But Cypher made the right play anyway. He knew he had to do that, no matter the situation. That first rocket was beautiful. Just a shame that rail just barely missed. But this is the Cypher we normally see, gliding everywhere he can, no matter which champion it is. And his accuracy's been absolutely phenomenal, as his stack is dangerously high, and k1llsen is running out of plays into what he needs to do next.
Well, that's the one thing about being so speedy, is that it doesn't really help when there's a rocket coming straight towards you. It doesn't give you much time to evade it, and instead it blows you to smithereens, Harry. 7-2 as we get to the 7-minute mark. Cypher again picks up a Mega, replenishes himself, and the one that's looking a little bit green around the gills is going to be k1llsen. He's not in a great spot whatsoever now, and Cypher with a railgun adjustment is doing tons of damage. That is a beautiful flick and a fantastic frag to secure himself even more comfort here as this game continues.
His patience on that heavy was just ridiculous. I don't know how he hit those 2 rails. Anyway, it's just been on point, but get a little bit of damage done here and will let k1llsen get away with the Mega. Sadly, the rocket jump did not come into permission, but at least he can pretend to fake it. By no means least, but Cypher is going to try and rotate round to make him think that, but k1llsen gets the first rail off, but decides to suicide once, well, not once again, but almost earlier on. But already, look at this. This is what we talked about before. k1llsen is always the sort of guy where, even with the deficit, you've got to be careful. But if Cypher's railing like that, what can you do?
Ooh. I mean, I guess you just take the rails and have to take it on the chin, as it doesn't seem like there is much else that can be done. These shots are just packing a punch right now, and it's leaving k1llsen in quite a detrimental position. As he slows down the game, gets his squats in, you can never go wrong.
Certainly was, as Cypher now is in a great position. 6 frag lead, a minute and a half left remaining. And even then, he's still giving k1llsen trouble, and there's nothing he can do. falls out thanks to that rail from Cypher, and I think this is all but done now. There's not really too much k1llsen can do. Don't get me wrong, he's got the slash for the movement. He is trying to do something here, but if Cypher's railing like that, my word, 3 in a row. Cypher's having a field day.
1 minute warning.
Rail gone out, lots of damage done. Finished off by k1llsen, finally, as he goes down. But with 60 seconds remaining, this one is just going to be a matter of time before it seems like Cypher has taken home the bacon. Walked away with a victory on this one. Drops down again, just trying to get as much use as possible out of those pineapples. Railson's entered the server, though, towards the end here, Harry, as he is firing off with some beautiful shots. Absolutely splendid stuff. Unfortunately, he might have more rails than a train station, but much like trains, Harry, they've come a little bit late.
They definitely have, and Cypher's just made matters worse. Cleaning things up once more, 11-4, and that was a brilliant game. But the thing is, though, it wasn't even remotely close. It was in dominating fashion. And k1llsen, again, in 2 maps, wasn't too sure what to do and what he should be doing next. It was just perfect play. Cypher, his aim, his rails, his LG, everything about him in terms of his movement, there's a lot of shots he just should not be hitting and was just getting away with so much. And to be fair, if you're aiming like that and you're fragging like that, then by all means, go for it. And even with the damage dealt, there's only 250 between the two. Cypher, of course, managed to lead that by 250. But my goodness, that was a hell of a series, to say the least.
It was. It truly was. Definitely quite a banger of an affair, obviously, the way it played out. Cypher, I think, proved a lot, obviously, over the course of those games tonight, coming into it on a high, finishing it on a high. Even Awoken was quite a close affair, and there was moments where it was like, wow, this could have potentially been a full 3-0 series if he was able to actually drag it into overtime. He went down, what, 1 frag? Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, Harry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. You couldn't really make it up because against k1llsen, who is one of the highest fragging players in the EU scene, for someone like him to not be able to figure out what to do and what he should be doing next or his next move, you can see he made the attempts, but it just didn't matter. Cypher had his number. It was like he scrims against him 24/7 and he just didn't know what to do next. It was just remarkable. And this makes you think, well, what more can Cypher do here, especially for the future, for the next few weeks? So it's like the EU side of the Pro League's having a little bit of trouble dealing with him.
Yeah, that is true. More to come, though. Obviously, that was an absolutely fantastic slobber knocker of an affair. But there is another gem of a game to go. Our 7th best of 3 of the night with Razy taking on k1llsen. Both of them incredible players. k1llsen, of course, he was at the height after stage 2. Unfortunately, didn't have the best run, obviously, in Poland. Now, what's he going to be able to do versus Razy? A man that I think it would be unfair to call up and coming at this point because of how damn good he is. Let's find out after the break.